Welcome back, everybody. My name is Silent Knight, and it's time for our Philadelphia Eagles franchise. We're going to get right into preseason action. Week 1, we take on the Cleveland Browns and new starting quarterback, Kerry Davidson. Davidson was the number 4 pick in the draft. Apologies for the delay in getting anything out. I've been under the weather, as you can probably tell from my voice. It's a little bit different than normal, slightly hoarse, but we're good to go. The preseason has all been recorded and edited down. This will be episode 1 of 2. This will be game 1 and 2. The next one will be game 3 and 4. For the most part, we're just going to go through and show you the rookies in action as well as some starter gameplay, a lot of big plays in the games, and just kind of what happens with it. This is my first time doing preseason here, so let me know if there's anything you guys want to see. There might be some weird cuts, just like one-play drives here and there. But let me know what you guys think of it, and it'll get better for next preseason. Our starting defense managed to heavily neutralize the Cleveland offense as Chris Ivory gets his first carry as an Eagle. We have Chance Warmack at left guard and Hal Vaitai at right tackle currently, but plans are for Frank Burke to start at right tackle and for VJ Pools to start at left guard, but they're going to have to earn it with good play here in the preseason as Hollins catches a nice little pass there from Wentz. Wentz started this game out on fire. They just get one possession here to show what they can do, as we want to get a better look at the rookies here. Ross Ransom will be the 4th running back, I believe, that we use in this. We don't want to get him too much action right away. We want to see what he can do, but slow. Our starters have earned it, with Ivory being the number 1 running back, and Clement, Smallwood, Pumphrey, and Ransom doing a variety of number 2, number 3 work here going forward. Starting defense at middle linebacker, we're probably going to run through the season with Meadows at number 2 linebacker and Mark Barron at number 3, of course, behind starter Jordan Hicks. But in obvious passing downs, we'll definitely put in Barron, possibly as a number 1, or at least a number 2 for sure, and possibly even start him in the 3-4 setup in place of Michael Kendricks. Again, you can see run defense may be an issue again this season. We're hoping it improves with play calling and with just pure talent, with Swilling starting at free safety. I think he's going to be a Brian Dawkins kind of clone who can drop the boom and play heavy and run support as well. Nice little user swat there. There's a boy number 52, Meadows, who will be the anchor of the center of the defense next to Jordan Hicks behind a hellacious 3-4 defense that we run, with Cox, Barnett, and Graham on the line. I think having Meadows and Hicks will be the perfect supplement behind that very good 3 on the defensive line. Our secondary should improve from better linebacker play as well. We do have a couple suspect positions. Our corners aren't the best, but they're young and easy to develop. Nate Sudfeld comes into this season number 3 on quarterback behind Foles and Wentz. He's number 2. Following a nice pass to rookie receiver Antonio Ship, number 84, Corey Clement gets a nice carry for a first down. The way that I see our receiving core projecting is Humphreys in the slot, but our number 1 receiver, Mac Hollins as the go-get-it and number 2 receiver, and a supplement of Antonio Ship and Aguilar and Nixon, and of course Wes Womack at wide receiver, but there's still lots to be determined through the preseason and just with regular season gameplay. But this offense as a whole will definitely focus more so on the running backs and the tight end gameplay. We have 2 fantastic tight ends in Zach Ertz and in Trey Burton. And we have running backs who can pound the ball as well as catch the ball. We have, of course, switched to the New England Patriots playbook, so we're going to definitely have some different looks here going forward through the season. I haven't changed anything with the formation substitutes. That stuff I'm waiting for the regular season to do because it's going to definitely take some time. I didn't necessarily want to burn a bunch of time here in the preseason where I would have to cut players and rechange everything going forward as well. Currently, we're down 17-7 after the poor rushing defense in the first quarter and that giant bomb from Kaiser to Kendall Wright for a nice easy touchdown on a blown coverage assignment. As you see, Meadows making a great tackle there, and he did hurt the player as well. He can definitely drop the hammer. I know that I haven't shown off yet all the undrafted free agents that we have signed. Some of them actually will make the team. We definitely have a lot of depthy rookies who we signed that were not drafted, and we do have a very solid draft class that I'm very excited to go forward and grow with. At quarterback now is number 16, Stanley Lester, more of a pocket passer as he completes a pass to Wes Womack, one of our very solid receivers that we drafted. Eagles are marching the ball down the field in a pretty solid 2-minute drill. 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Womack catches another pass, eludes a defender, then gets brought down just short of the first down marker. 6 seconds left. He heaves it up, and it comes to the ground, intended for Antonio Ship. Eagles settle for a field goal to go into halftime, just down 7. Ross Ransom is now in the game with his first carry as an Eagle, and he goes for a loss of 4. Not how you want to start out your career there, Ross. Our running game definitely took a hit without Blunt, but I think as Ross Ransom continues to develop behind Chris Ivory, accompanied with Smallwood, Clement, and Pumphrey as a pass catcher, I definitely think we have a solid trio, if not quad, of running backs that we can deploy at any shape of the game. Through the course of all these preseason games, Ransom did get dinged up about 4 or 5 times where he had to come off the field with various ailments. Once it was an ankle, twice it was a knee, and once it was a shoulder. I think his injury is over 85, so that's somewhat concerning here going forward. Of course, once we get to regular season gameplay, I will focus much more on actually calling the game like I did in Season 1. I just wasn't totally sure with how to broadcast these and get these out there. I just want to get them out there as fast as possible because I do really want to get into Season 2. I'm very excited with this team. Joe Walker out here making plays, our number 4 middle linebacker. Eagles face a 3rd and 19 deep in their end zone. Pass goes to Ship, who makes a couple people miss and still gets short of the first down, but he gave our punter some space. Nice gain of 14 there by Antonio Ship. Antonio Ship was the first receiver that we drafted. I think he definitely projects as a number 1 receiver here in a couple years. J.D. Nixon is 6'4", so he's probably going to be one of our red zone weapons we try to get active early in the season just to see what he can do as the Eagles block a punt here. That is number 99, Keith Newson, one of our undrafted free agents that we signed. I definitely think he has a spot on our defensive line as depth here going forward. Possibly even a rotational defensive tackle since we now run a 3-4. It's now 17-all following that blocked field goal as the Eagles are tied up in the closing minutes of the third quarter as Meadows jumps over a defender and sacks DeShone Kizer. Malcolm Meadows here is a behemoth in the middle. I'm so happy that we took him where we did. He's definitely going to be the number 2 middle linebacker. The only time he'll probably come off the field is in deep passing situations where we'll put in Mark Barron. Though, as I said prior, I think Mark Barron does project as a replacement to Michael Kendricks. I do love Kendricks, but if we can get rid of him and get a high draft pick or even a talented player in return, I wouldn't hesitate to pull the trigger on him. LaJarvis Swilling just made a great pass deflection there. He's our new free safety. He's going to start day 1. I see him as the fear-inducing presence in our secondary that no one wants to run across because he will knock your head off, almost like a clone of Eagle great Brian Dawkins. Kizer rolls out to the right. Meadows chasing. Meadows forces a fumble as he upends DeShone Kizer, recovered by Black. Sherman Black is our backup strong safety currently behind Malcolm Jenkins. I know it's a preseason, but I'm just so impressed with Malcolm Meadows. This dude is a heat seeker. Caleb Sturgis lining up for a 54-yard field goal attempt, and he makes it. Welcome back to Philly, Caleb Sturgis. The quarterback that scrambled earlier for us, that fumbled, was Cooper McDonald, number 8. He's a mobile prospect. He has like 86 speed. More so just a camp body, but depending on what happens, if we have a quarterback injury, he may get signed because he's getting familiar with the playbook. But if I had to pick between McDonald or Lester, it would definitely be number 16, Stanley Lester, who would get the call. I know this commentary is kind of all over the place. My editing is probably kind of weird, but I just really wanted to get this out as much as possible. As Antonio Ship makes a great catch, takes it up to the 24-yard line on a 22-yard completion. Eagles are back up here pounding on the red zone door. As McDonald takes it left side, he scrambles up, and he gets dropped down at the 4-yard line. Nice little rush there by McDonald, as you can really see his mobility. Handoff goes to Corey Clement, no play action, and McDonald finds J.D. Nixon in the back of the end zone. As I said earlier, I definitely see him projecting as our red zone threat here, as he's 6'4" and just has a freak talent. Wentz had a perfect passer rating, Foles did okay, McDonald had a very solid game, as well as Sudfeld, and Lester did pretty well also. Our ground game really struggled in this one. I think it may have been with the mismatched offensive line. I didn't start our 2 sensational rookies just because I wanted them to, kind of earn their play time, but I think they did solid enough here going forward. We're in game 2 and 3, looking at the game earlier, seeing if we can pop open some big holes. And with our receiving core, everybody touched the ball. We got Adam Humphries the ball early. We did a lot of stuff with our rookies. Our running backs started to catch it. I see a lot of different looks coming from this offense, as our defense was led with Joe Walker and Adam Hunter and Meadows on defense and tackles. All in all, very solid game I'm very happy with. We did go for 2 at the end. We did not make it in. So we did win 26-20 over the Cleveland Browns. Eagles finished game 1, 1-0, as we head into a game against the Arizona Cardinals here for game 2 right away. Back-to-back, boys. Carson Palmer's back here in Arizona for another season. Larry Fitzgerald did retire. His number 1 target now is Josh Gordon. The Cardinals still do have David Johnson. Let's see what this Eagles defense can do against a slightly better offense. Jordan Hicks with a sack here on 2nd down, forcing a long 3rd and 19 as Eagles go in their pass defense here. Palmer drops back, got a little bit of time, and he uncorks one deep for Josh Gordon, and it falls to the turf. Chris Maragos there in coverage. I have Chris Maragos currently starting at free safety, but the job is definitely Swilling's, as Ivory gets the carry here, and he pops one off there for 15 on his first carry of the day. Running with the ones at receiver is Humphries, Hollins, and Aguilar, as that ball was narrowly intercepted, but it falls to the turf as Wentz on drive 1 goes 0 for 2. I think the Eagles have a very high ceiling in Season 2 here, but I think our floor could be slightly lower. There's definitely some teams that absolutely terrify me based on where we lost talent, where we gained talent, but I think across the board we have the potential to boom a lot higher. We're still going to boast a very significant pass rush. The 3-4 switch, I believe, is going to help our run defense. I think our secondary is good enough to force some turnovers like we did last season, and I think they've improved with playmaker ability, especially here going forward. The additions with starter Malcolm Meadows and free safety LaJarvis Swilling, I think are going to be noticeable very soon this season. Within the first couple weeks, I believe they're going to make significant plays as Josh Gordon takes it into the end zone. The one defensive player that we drafted that I don't believe is going to make the roster and probably spend at least Season 1 in the practice squad is our last pick, Gregory Arnold from Duke. He's only a 65-year-old corner, and some of the undrafted free agents that we signed at corner definitely put him out of a job. Our secondary as a whole got overall younger since we got rid of McLeod. Of course, Michael Jenkins is still here, but Swilling, Darby, Sidney Jones, and Bryce Callahan profiles to be a very young secondary. I think the sky's the limit for him. Wentz and the Eagles starting offense is still in the field here in the second quarter, as through their first 2 drives I was very disappointed with what they were able to do. Wentz currently is 1 for 7. The receivers are still trying to figure out the new playbook. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and I don't necessarily like where a lot of the formations currently have players playing. I haven't done anything with slot substitutions or anything, so I'm very excited to do what I can with the formations here, as the actual season will be beginning very shortly, as the Eagles are finally starting to materialize on a drive. Clement gets the carry, takes it left side up to the 30, 25-20, and he's gone. Touchdown Corey Clement. Eagles are now on the board, down 3, 10-7. The whole left side of the offensive line got pancakes. I'm not sure what was up with that, but hey, I'm not going to complain. That's how you want to see your starting offense go off the field. They did struggle, but I think more so that was to the Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu led defense as it was our own struggles. Of course, there's definitely a lot of stuff we have to work through as Malcolm Meadows buries David Johnson in the backfield. It's always a little boost of confidence that you made the right decision taking a player when someone of the caliber of David Johnson gets instantly stuffed by Malcolm Meadows. As Meadows goes in the backfield and gets a sack here, he's going to be a Philly fan favorite for years to come. 3rd and 12, Eagles go with a quarter defense. Palmer's got some time, and he drops one deep, and it goes out of bounds. Eagles take over following a punt, as Nick Foles is now in the game. The quarterback situation here in Philly is interesting, as Humphries makes the reception, takes it up to the 40, 50, hurdles, and he's brought out of bounds at the 49-yard line. I like Nick Foles a lot as a backup, but he's due to make $4 million this season. I think that if Nate Sudfeld can show that he can command this ship, I think Nick Foles may be cut as a late preseason cap casualty. Of course, you always look to go into the season with more of a veteran presence as a backup, especially with Wentz only in his 3rd year, but I think the sky's the limit for some of these quarterbacks on the roster. Going forward here on 4th and 4, Foles drops back, looking for Hollins, and he makes the reception. No, they call it incomplete. He did not make a catch. It appears here in Madden, just like the NFL. The realism is key. They don't know what a catch is either. As Swilling drops the boom on Josh Gordon. Again, pass defense may be an issue, but I think with the pressure we can bring, with different exotic blitzes we can draw up, and just playmaker ability with Jenkins and Swilling in the secondary, I really think that our pass defense is going to improve significantly over last season. Run defense may be another story, but I definitely think that our starting three with our linebacker core that we have can make enough plays to make it worth it. As our secondary that I just praised forgets how to tackle, and Danny Amendola rips a huge gainer. Eagles trying to come up big here in the red zone with under a minute to go. 3rd and 2. Palmer still in the game. This team's still running with all their starters. Palmer standing like a statue and throws it off target. The Cardinals settle for a field goal as the Eagles try to orchestrate a 2-minute drill. Sudfeld throws it deep, looking for Shipp, and just out of reach. Antonio Shipp is a talent that I absolutely love. I think he definitely profiles as someone who can easily crack into the starting lineup very soon, as this team is now in the second half of Game 2 of the preseason, as Shipp makes a reception there across the 50-yard line. Sudfeld now 2 for 5 on the day. Well-designed and covered screen pass outside to Clement on the right side. He barrels his head down, and he does get the first down. In year 1 of this franchise series, we didn't necessarily have a lot of running back receptions outside of Wendell Smallwood as the season went on, and Darren Sproles early in the year. I definitely see a much higher ceiling for running back catches coming out of the backfield this season. Sudfeld commanding a solid drive up in the red zone. Womack makes the reception, and it comes loose at the last second. Another drop. Eagles settle for a field goal. Osweiler is now in at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals as he makes a nice little 8-yard completion. Number 23, Ray King, and number 24, LaMarcus McCarthy, are 2 corners that are probably going to project as our number 5 and 6 cornerbacks as we go into the season. And at safety, we'll have Black playing behind Jenkins, and we'll have Spencer Nesbitt, number 29, another rookie, playing behind LaJarvis Swilling. Sudfeld's still in the game as we want to really get a look at what he can do, as number 89, Stephon Conway, who will be our number 3 tight end going into the season, makes a nice little reception. Eagles drive stalled out. We did kick a field goal. Into the 4th quarter, Logan gets the carry, and he gets dropped down after a big gain by number 26, Sherman Black. Even though the preseason games don't matter, you always want to walk away with a win if you can. But it's also the time where you can kind of go for it on 4th and short, 4th and a couple, and different yard lines you definitely wouldn't try in a real game. As Wilson here gets a touchdown reception from Brock Osweiler, Eagles pass defense kind of suspect on that one. Handoff goes to Ross Ransom. Nothing was there, and he takes it left side. Got a couple, but he was definitely looking at nothing. Turned it into something. Stanley Lester in at quarterback for the Eagles as Ross Ransom catches a reception, showing that he can do it on the air and on the ground. 12-yard catch there. Lester lets one go deep with pressure in his grill, looking up for Nixon, and it comes down to the ground. Incomplete. 3rd and 10. Eagles make a reception to Nixon again. He takes it right side on a nice little slant route. He takes it 60 yards to the house as he flips head over heels. Way to go, J.D. Nixon. Eagles go for it here, take it to Ross Ransom, and he gets stuffed for a gain of nothing. Eagles are down 1. I think J.D. Nixon profiles as an Alshon Jeffrey clone that is faster, but with worse route running and not as good at hands. I mean, he's a rookie, so... But he's definitely someone who I think the sky's the limit for. To be honest with you, with the receiving class that we were able to draft, I probably would have not have signed Humphreys if I had any kind of intel these players would have been available there. But I'm definitely liking Humphreys as a wide receiver. He's definitely the perfect kind of slot or possession player that this Eagles offense needs. As our punter drops a big boom. He's a rookie punter with like 93 kick power. But the bigger story is, again, LaJarvis Swilling dropping the boom as Meadows gets through the line, and they get a sack on the play, dropped down by Minnis. That is number 77, Jason Minnis, who will be the backup end behind Derek Barnett. Eagles defense really shut them down there on that drive as the Eagles take over with about 3 minutes to go. Scrambles outside to the right and finds Womack. Following the reception and a face mask penalty, Eagles have the ball in Cardinal territory at the 40-yard line as Womack makes another reception here on this drive. 3rd and 10, McDonald in at quarterback. Scrambles right side. He's got speed. He sees he's got space. He jumps, and he gets brought down just short of the marker. 4th and 1, Eagles are going for instead of kicking a field goal because it really doesn't matter. He had space to take it across the line for an easy first down, but he tries to make a play, throws an interception, and that will end the game. Eagles are defeated 20-19. Taking a look at the stats, we definitely gave Sudfeld the perfect opportunity to seize the number 2 quarterback, and I think he may have done just that. Again, Ransom struggled on the ground. He went 6 for 4. Going into game 3, we're going to see if we can get him the ball behind some of our starting offensive linemen. I think that the issue with his not getting a lot of traction is because he's going against better defensive line players, because the computer only necessarily goes to second string where we go third, fourth, fifth in some cases. But overall, very happy with this game against the Cardinals and game 1 against Cleveland. Our defense played pretty well across the board. Swilling just led the team in tackles, followed by Meadows, 1-2, kind of how they were drafted. Very happy with it. This defense is going to bang with people, going to KO some people. I think our offense can do just enough to win us some ball games, boys. I'll catch you very soon with game 3 and 4. Later.